You are currently living in two different timelines at the exact same moment. One is the physical reality where you are sitting right now, and the other is a complete hallucination inside your head where everything is going wrong. There is a simple mental switch that instantly collapses that hallucination. I am going to reveal exactly how to flip that switch and stay entirely in the real world. But to make this work, we first need to look at how much energy you are wasting on things that literally do not exist. You spend hours fighting imaginary battles and fixing future problems that will never actually happen. This creates a constant heavy weight of anxiety on your shoulders. I know exactly how heavy that invisible weight feels on your chest every single morning. If you are truly exhausted from fighting battles that do not even exist, I need you to promise yourself that you will watch this until the very end. We are going to walk you through 8 ancient habits today, but you absolutely cannot skip to the end. That mental switch I just mentioned is the 8th and final habit on this list. It is a radical psychological tool that permanently kills panic, but you cannot just flip it right now. It will only work if you let the first 7 rules build your mental armor first. Let's start building that armor right now. Number 1. Delete the mental fiction. Right now, you do not just react to the things that happen to you in life. You react to the terrifying stories you tell yourself about the things that happen to you. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. It cannot handle raw events without trying to figure out what those events mean for your survival. When something unexpected occurs, your mind immediately rushes forward to predict the worst possible outcome. The ancient Stoics understood that this exact mental process is the hidden root of all human anxiety. The philosopher Epictetus explained this perfectly when he said that people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of those things. We take a completely neutral event in the physical world, and we instantly paint it with fear, judgment, and disaster. The event itself is harmless until we decide to make it a tragedy. Imagine an ancient merchant standing at the docks, waiting for a ship to return with his valuable goods. A messenger arrives and tells him that the ship sank in a heavy storm. That is the objective physical fact. The ship is at the bottom of the sea, but the merchant instantly adds a massive fictional story to that raw fact. He tells himself he is going to starve in the streets. He imagines his friends abandoning him. He decides his entire life is completely ruined, and he will never feel joy again. He creates a highly detailed disaster movie in his head, in about 3 seconds flat, and his body reacts by pumping him full of absolute panic. The sinking ship did not actually cause his panic. The story he invented about his future caused his panic. The physical world only took his property, but his own mind took his peace. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius practiced a very specific mental habit to stop this storytelling process. He stripped the story away by describing things exactly as they were in reality, without a single drop of emotion or prediction. When he sat in front of an expensive royal feast, he did not see luxury or status. He would look at the rich roasted meat and tell himself it was just the dead body of a bird. He would look at his expensive vintage wine and call it fermented grape juice. He removed the fancy stories that society attached to these objects and just looked at the bare physical facts. You must train yourself to do the exact same thing when a problem appears in your life. When you face a sudden setback, stop right there and define exactly what is actually occurring in the physical world. Strip away your terrifying predictions. Strip away your fear of what other people might think. State the bare facts to yourself. By deliberately pausing to strip away the story, you instantly shut down your emotional panic response. You force your brain to deal with the actual present moment instead of fighting a fake disaster in the future. Number 2, Schedule A, worry appointment. You probably feel like your anxiety is a random attack that can strike at any moment of the day or night. It interrupts your deep focus, it ruins your quiet time with your family, and it keeps you staring at the ceiling when you should be sleeping. You try to fight it and push it away, but ignoring it only makes it scream much louder. This happens because your mind genuinely thinks it is doing you a massive favor. It believes it is solving a dangerous problem and keeping you safe from future ruin. But the ancient Stoics recognized that letting these sudden fears control your daily schedule simply makes you a slave to your own imagination. The philosopher Seneca understood the deep danger of reacting instantly to heavy emotions. He famously observed that the greatest remedy for anger is delay, and this exact same rule applies perfectly to your daily anxiety. When a sudden fear strikes, your mind is entirely clouded by intense emotion. If you engage with the worry in that exact moment, you will lose the battle every single time because logic has completely left the room. You must build a physical gap between the moment the fear appears and the moment you decide to actually deal with it. Imagine an ancient Roman general standing on the battlefield. A panicked scout runs up to him screaming about a massive approaching enemy army. If the general instantly panics and reacts to the terror of the scout, he makes a fatal mistake. Instead, a wise commander tells the scout to wait. He finishes his current planning, gathers his logic, and only then asks for the full report. You must treat your anxious thoughts exactly like that panicked scout. Instead of fighting the worry, you are going to give it a very strict schedule. You must decide right now that you are only allowed to worry at a specific time, perhaps for 15 minutes late in the afternoon. When an anxious thought pops into your head early in the morning, do not suppress it. You acknowledge the fear and tell your brain that you will definitely deal with it, but only at your scheduled time. You write the worry down on a physical piece of paper, and you move right back into your day. You are taking all the power away from the anxiety by controlling exactly when it gets your valuable attention. You become the true master of your own thoughts. When your scheduled time finally arrives, you sit down and look at the physical list. You will be completely amazed to find that most of the time, the things you were absolutely terrified of in the morning do not even matter anymore. The intense emotion has entirely passed, and you can finally look at the list with pure logic instead of blind fear. Number 3. The 30-second cosmic zoom. When you are trapped in a tight cycle of overthinking, everything in your life feels incredibly huge and heavy. A bad interaction with a friend or a small mistake in your daily duties feels like the absolute end of the world. Your perspective is trapped in a tiny, narrow box. You are zoomed in so closely on your own life that you cannot see anything else around you. To break this claustrophobic feeling, you have to deliberately change your scale. There is a specific mental exercise that the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius used every time he felt completely overwhelmed. It takes 30 seconds, and it instantly deletes anxiety. He was the most powerful man on earth, ruling a massive empire during a time when a terrifying plague hit Rome and killed millions of people. The weight of the world was on his shoulders, which is a level of daily stress we can barely imagine right now. But he did not panic. He found a brilliant way to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. To practice this habit, you close your eyes and you imagine yourself leaving your body. You imagine your perspective floating up to the ceiling of the room you are in, and then floating above your house. Then you imagine floating above your entire city, and then above the whole earth. From that massive height, you look down at the billions of other people who are also struggling with their own lives. You see the vast armies, the massive oceans, the wide continents, and the endless history of the world. Imagine an ancient soldier standing on a wall, terrified of the invading army approaching his city. If he only looks at the swords and the shields, his heart will pound with pure terror. But if he imagines looking down at the battlefield from the clouds, the entire war just looks like tiny ants marching in the dirt. When you practice this exact cosmic zoom, your current problem is not just small, it is completely invisible. This mental tool is not meant to make you feel worthless or insignificant. It is meant to set you entirely free. It instantly deletes the heavy pressure you put on your own shoulders because you suddenly realize your mistakes are just tiny drops in a massive ocean. By looking at the universe from above, you force your brain to let go of the imaginary drama and find deep peace in the present moment. Number 4. Break your own comfort. Those first 3 habits were relatively easy mental exercises, but now we are getting into a territory that requires you to actively break your own mind and get extremely uncomfortable. Modern society has made you incredibly soft. You have instant hot food, perfect temperature control in your house, and endless entertainment right in your pocket. Because your daily life is so perfectly comfortable, you have become absolutely terrified of losing that comfort. Your daily anxiety is very often just the fear of having to experience something slightly unpleasant. If you have to walk in the rain or wait in a long line, you feel like it is a massive crisis. The ancient Stoics knew that deep peace requires real mental strength, and true strength always requires heavy friction. The great Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus taught his students that if you cannot handle mild discomfort, you are a slave to your body. He strongly believed that a mind that is never tested will immediately collapse at the first sign of real trouble. We can look at the life of Seneca to understand this. Seneca was the most famous Stoic of his time, and he was the equivalent of a modern billionaire. He lived in extreme luxury, owning massive vineyards and beautiful tables made of citrus wood, but he also wrote beautiful letters about poverty and simplicity. He knew that being attached to all that wealth would only create massive anxiety. He had to prove to himself that he could survive without it. When the Emperor Nero eventually ordered him to commit suicide, Seneca did not beg for his life or his money. He walked away from it all without a tear, proving his Stoic training was completely real. You need to start testing your own willpower by practicing this exact same mild discomfort on a regular basis. You should take a freezing cold shower in the morning. You can try sleeping on the hard floor once a month instead of resting in your soft, comfortable bed. You might even choose to fast for 24 hours to remember what actual hunger feels like in your stomach. By voluntarily choosing to be uncomfortable, you teach your brain a massive and permanent lesson. You prove to yourself that you can easily survive hardship. When you finally realize that the absolute worst-case scenario is just a hard floor and an empty stomach, you stop worrying so much about losing your comfortable modern life. The fear loses its tight grip on your mind because you have already faced it and conquered it on your very own terms. Number 5. Drop the weights you cannot lift. You spend an absurd amount of your daily energy trying to manage things you cannot even touch. You want people to like you and respect you. You want the global economy to be stable. You want the weather to be perfect for your weekend trip. When these things do not go exactly your way, you feel deeply frustrated and anxious. You are playing a game you are mathematically guaranteed to lose because you do not make the rules of the universe. The Stoic teacher Epictetus built his entire philosophy around solving this exact problem. He was born into slavery and had absolutely no legal rights over his own physical body. His master could dictate where he went and what he did. Yet Epictetus realized a profound truth. He understood that while his master could chain his leg, no one could ever chain his mind or his choices. He taught his students that some things are entirely up to us, and other things are simply not up to us. This concept is often called the dichotomy of control. It sounds like a very simple idea, but it is the ultimate key to human freedom. You need to draw a thick, solid wall right down the middle of your life. On one side of the wall are the things you completely control. This includes your thoughts, your actions, and your daily choices. On the other side of the wall is absolutely everything else. Whenever you feel worry creeping in, you must immediately ask yourself which side of the wall the problem belongs to. Think of an ancient Roman archer preparing to shoot his bow in a major competition. He can control his breathing, the tight tension of the string, and his careful aim. Those are the only things on his side of the wall. But the exact moment the arrow leaves his fingers, he completely loses all control. A sudden gust of wind could easily push the arrow away from the wooden target. If the archer ties his internal happiness to the arrow hitting the target, he will always be terribly anxious. But if he ties his happiness only to his own focused effort, he will remain perfectly calm. If someone insults you in the public square, that event is on their side of the wall. You cannot control their mouth or their rude opinions, but your own reaction to the insult is entirely on your side. The solution is what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. You completely control your own actions, but you do not control their reaction. If you focus 100% of your energy only on your side of the wall, you will suddenly find that you have almost zero anxiety. You only feel panic when you try to control the uncontrollable. Once you internalize this simple rule, the heavy chains fall right off. Number 6. Fall in love with the heavy storm. This is where we take a massive leap in difficulty. Most people try to bravely accept the bad things that happen to them. They grit their teeth, they suffer through the pain, and they just hope the storm passes quickly. This is passive endurance, and it still leaves you feeling like a helpless victim of the universe. When you just tolerate a bad situation, you are still secretly wishing that it never happened to you in the first place. The ancient masters did not just accept their struggles, they actively loved them. They practiced a concept known as amor fati, which translates to loving your fate. This beautiful idea completely flips your entire worldview upside down. It is the ultimate secret to turning your deep trauma into absolute strength. When your grand plans fail, when your physical health declines, or when someone betrays your trust, you do not just tolerate the pain. You look at the difficult situation and you embrace it as the exact thing you needed to become a much stronger person. Think about the powerful historical story of a man named Zeno. Zeno was a billionaire merchant who had everything a person could ever want. A massive sudden storm sank his valuable ships and completely destroyed his entire fortune. He was deeply ashamed of his sudden poverty, and he initially tried to hide his failure. But instead of just crying about his lost money forever, he stumbled into a small bookstore and started reading the works of Socrates. He did not recover his lost money, but he found the study of philosophy instead. People in the city mocked his sudden poverty, but he just smiled at them. He famously said that he made a prosperous voyage when he suffered shipwreck. He deeply realized his total ruin was actually his true rescue. The terrible disaster did not break his spirit. It actually revealed a much better and more meaningful path for his entire life. Fire easily destroys weak wood, but it hardens strong steel. You must look at every single disaster as necessary fuel for your own personal growth. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that a blazing fire makes a bright flame out of everything that is thrown into it. If you train yourself to truly love the heavy obstacles in your path, you will never worry about the unknown future again. You will walk forward with total confidence because you know that absolutely whatever happens will only make you better. Number 7. Count your remaining sunsets. We live our daily lives as if we have an absolutely infinite amount of time. We delay our biggest dreams. We hold on to bitter arguments with our family. We worry about incredibly stupid things because we secretly think we have decades left to fix it all. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote extensively about how blind we are to our own mortality. He pointed out that we fear everything like mortals, but we desire everything as if we were immortals. We act like we have an endless supply of days in the bank. This illusion of endless time is exactly what gives your anxiety the room it needs to grow and spread into every corner of your mind. You need to remind yourself every single day that you are completely temporary. You are going to die. The ancient Stoics relied on a daily practice known as memento mori. This translates directly to a simple command: remember that you must die. This is not a dark or depressing thought meant to ruin your mood. It is actually the most clarifying truth in the entire universe. When you realize that today could literally be your very last day on Earth, the things you were worrying about this morning suddenly look completely ridiculous. Imagine an ancient Roman politician who is terrified that a rival is spreading false rumors about him in the public forum. He spends all night awake. He feels sick to his stomach with anxiety over his public reputation. But if a physician suddenly told him he only had one single day left to live, would he still care about those rumors? Are you really going to spend your final hours on Earth stressing about what a stranger thinks of you, or a slightly delayed task? Of course you are not. Remembering your own mortality strips away all the fake drama. It forces you to focus only on what is deeply important right now in this exact moment. It pulls you completely out of the hallucinated future and plants you firmly in the physical reality of today. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius commanded himself to perform every action in life as if it were his very last. If you adopt this exact mindset, anxiety simply cannot survive. You stop giving your precious remaining time to fears that do not matter. Number 8. Walk through the ashes on purpose. We have reached the peak of the list. This is the ultimate tool for destroying worry, and it is the exact opposite of what every modern self-help guru tells you to do. It is a habit so intense that most people will absolutely refuse to try it. But if you can master this, you will become completely bulletproof in your daily life. Modern advice tells you to stay positive at all times and manifest good things. It tells you to push away negative thoughts the second they appear. The ancient masters did the exact reverse. They practiced a powerful mental exercise called premeditatio malorum. This means the premeditation of evils. They deliberately imagined the absolute worst things happening to them. I want you to sit down in a quiet room and vividly picture losing everything you care about. Imagine your entire wealth dropping to absolute zero. Imagine your entire reputation being destroyed in public. Literally imagine the people you love passing away. I know this sounds completely insane and incredibly painful to do, but there is a profound psychological reason for doing it. Anxiety lives in the dark spaces of the unknown. It is the deep fear of what might happen tomorrow. By actively dragging the absolute worst-case scenario into the light and staring it right in the face, you remove all of its mystery. You look at the total destruction of your life, and you realize that even if the worst happens, you will still have your mind. You will still have your ability to choose how you react to the world. By rehearsing the disaster, you completely rob the future of its ability to scare you. The philosopher Seneca used to practice this by setting aside a few days each month to eat the cheapest food and wear rough clothing. He would ask himself if this was the terrible condition he had feared so much. He brought the fear into physical reality to prove it could not break him. When you have already mentally survived the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen, the tiny daily problems of your life will never make you panic again. At the very beginning of this video, I told you about a mental switch that instantly collapses the hallucination of anxiety. That switch is the deep realization that your fear is always a choice. You have been living in two timelines because you allowed your brain to invent a future that simply does not exist. Every single time you feel that heavy weight of panic returning to your chest, I want you to remember these 8 habits. You can stop and separate the raw facts from the fictional story. You can postpone your worry for a scheduled time later in the day. You can zoom out and look at your life from the clouds. You can take a cold shower and practice being uncomfortable. You can build a massive wall between what you control and what you do not. You can choose to actively love the fire that burns you. You can remember that your time is running out. And finally, you can stare into the darkest possible future and realize that you are completely strong enough to survive it. The fake timeline inside your head has absolutely no power over you unless you actively give it your attention. It is time to drop the imaginary battles, flip the switch, and step back into the real world. If these ancient practices brought you peace today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can continue building a mind that no future storm can ever destroy.